When does the personal prayer go?
After the candle lighting. You light it? Yes, exactly. Oh dear. 15 minutes.
Testing. Okay. Test. Are you going to be using this mic at all?
But not till it comes up, not till it's soft.
Just want to make sure. Testing. I already did that.
I'm having lunch with Stephen Tuesday. He invited me, and so I'll come. And,
Really?
yeah, we'll meet and
Where's that going to be? Up here?
have a straw.
Oh.
I told him, I don't know where he wants to live. I said, if it's too far, but it's a nice place to live, and there's open apartments. So I'll show him around. Yeah, he'll look here too, just so he has options.
Yeah. Good. Very nice.
Yes, he likes to talk and communicate. It's great. So
So, surprisingly to me, in some of these emails back and forth, you had said what you would do. How Jerry thought that was really nice.
that's good to hear. Jerry and I have had our differences lately after
Yeah.
that board meeting. I've been trying to reach out to her.
Yeah. No, she actually commented that was very nice. So, I thought you'd like to know.
Thank you. Yes. I'm hoping we can repair what happened. I said maybe when I'm not around anymore we can talk. She's not ready to talk, but I've reached out to her a couple of times.
Yeah, I imagine.
Do you know if he's used the synagogue he was the intern at? That's a Reform synagogue. Has he used our prayer book?
Which synagogue is that?
He had an internship where in the Pocono somewhere, I think. I'll ask him if he hasn't used the prayer book. I assume they would use all of that. But I'll look him up. Yeah, we'll see. Some rabbis, when they come to the congregation, don't feel Rabbi Graft. And that's why I said, I'm happy to just sit back and keep out of the way. But he said, no, he'd love to be able to talk and ask me questions. So I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to
In
make.
fact, it's a job start rather than fly.
He doesn't have to work in cold.
Right. Yeah, that's great. So it's maybe
Try to get people to come. You try to get people to come. They don't.
Well, it means that someone in his family, when they changed their
Last
name,
minute.
was a rabbi.
I'll get started and think there's no hidden. Also, I look up and there's 20 people. you, I will need it.
I will need it.
Okay, should I? I thought there was an open one that maybe you didn't want.
This is an open one.
And this one is
This one I'm drinking now.
just, it's fresh. Though.
Yes.
Okay. Do you want me to give you another one?
Yes, please. Shabbat shalom.
I guess this should be on.
Page 10. Hine matovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. 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 Hine matovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad.
Good evening and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Welcome to the Rosenblum family. So nice to have you with us as we celebrate Henry becoming a bar mitzvah tomorrow morning. It is Shabbat. It's that time of the week we can catch our breath. If it's been a busy week for you, even if it's not, take a nice deep breath in, inhale the second soul of Shabbat, and slowly exhale all the troubles and ask them to just give you a break for Shabbat. They'll be waiting for you when Shabbat is over. We welcome Shabbat by saying the blessings over the candles. I'd like to invite Henry and his parents and his brother to join me on the bima. We continue on page 3. Sorry, let me just pull that up. Yeah. Then-
Oh no, as these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all of those who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. Now we pray. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahad l'kner shel Shabbat.
Let us light these lights for the world tonight. Let our hearts unite in the light, in the light. Let us light these lights for the world tonight. Let our hearts unite in the light, in the light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Let us light these lights
As part of our Bar and Bat Mitzvah training, we certainly want our students to learn the prayers in our Siddur. We also want to teach them the importance of personal prayer. And so we ask them to write a personal prayer for their special day. And we can get a sneak preview of Henry's prayer that he wrote.
God, there's so much hatefulness in the world, even though there doesn't have to be. So many people are judged or bullied for their religion or race. I pray that more people try to find a way to be kinder. God, please help those that have difficulty and trouble being kind, so no one will be bullied or judged.
Beautiful, thank you. We continue with Zamru Adonai, page 16.
Zamru Adonai bechinor, bechinor v'kol zimra, b'chatzot v'kol shofar, hariu lifnei hamelech Adonai. Zamru Adonai bechinor, bechinor v'kol zimra, b'chatzot B'kol shofar, hariu lifnei hamelech Adonai, Yiram hayam umlo, tevel v'yoshveva, neharot imcha uchav yachad, harim yiranenu, Yiram hayam umlo, Tevel v'yoshveva, neharot imcha uchav yachad, harim yiranenu, lifnei Adonai kiva, lishpot haaretz, lishpot tevel b'tzedek, vehamim b'meisharim, Yiram hayam umlo, im yoshveva, neharot imcha uchav yachad, harim yiranenu.
If you've ever been to a wedding, we wait in anticipation as the bride enters the room and walks down the aisle. And Shlomo Halevi Alkabetz, Kabbalist in Sfat, said we should greet Sabbath the same way, with that same excitement and that same joy. So he wrote this beautiful poetry that we sing, Lecha Dodi, beloved, come to meet the bride, come to greet Shabbat. And they would go, the Kabbalists were in Safat. If you've been there, it's up on a mountain. And they would go down off the mountain into the fields, dressed in white, to welcome the Sabbath bride. Page 20.
Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nikabela. La 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 lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nikabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Ishmi'anu el ha'mechad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shem u'tiferet v'liti la 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 lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nikabela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat nikabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelecha, ki hi mekor haberacha, mirosh mikedem nesucha. So ma'aseh b'machshavat tchila la 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 lecha dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela. Hit'oreri, kiva orech kumi uri, shir daberi, kivod Adonai alayich, nigla la lecha dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi, likrat kala,
We rise to greet the Sabbath bride as we face the entrance.
Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'sircha uvitzola, toch emunei am segula, boi chala, boi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela, la lecha dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi, likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabela.
Bottom of page 25. Waking from his sleep, Jacob said, "Truly Adonai is in this place, and I did not know it." He was awestruck and said, "How awe-inspiring is this place? This is none other than the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven."
V'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malachutei, v'chayechon uvyomechon, uv'chayedecho beit Yisrael, bagala, uvizman karim, ve'imeru, amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mivorach, le'alam la mehamaya, yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar, v'yitromam, v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar, v'yit'aleh, v'yithalal, shemei d'kudsha, B'richu, le'ila mikol birchata, v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, dahamiran b'alma, ve'imeru, amen.
I'd like to invite Henry to join me back on the bima as he helps us lead some of the prayers. We continue with the Baruch Hu, and we will rise for the call to worship.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Amivorach, Baruch Adonai Amivorach leolam va'ed.
Sit down there. Please be seated. Page 29. O God, you are as near as the very air we breathe, yet farther than the farthermost star. We yearn to reach you. We seek the light and warmth of your presence. Though we say you are near, we are lonely and alone. Oh, let our desire be so strong that it will tear the veil that keeps you from our sight. Let your light release our darkness and reveal the glory and joy of your presence. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, v'chochma potech she'arim, u'vitvuna mishane itim, u'machaliv et hazmanim, u'msader et ha'kochavim, mishmarotehem barakia kirtsono, Barayom v'layla galer or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, u'ma'avir yom u'mevi layla, u'mavdil ben yom u'vein layla, Adonai tzvaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, ha'ma'ariv aravim. And page 33. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works, the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. We rise for the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
Please be seated. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibartam bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha u'v'lechtecha b'derech u'v'shofecha u'v'kumecha u'keshartam le'ot al yadecha ve'hayu letotafot beinecha u'ktatam al mezuzot beitecha u'vishe'arecha למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Page 39. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The heavens declare your glory. May the earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision as a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi chamocha nehedar b'kodesh nora tehi Lord. Oseh pele nora tehi Lord. mi chamocha bailim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh, nora tehi Lord, osefele, nora tehi Lord, osefele, osefele, malchutecha rauvanecha, bokei ayam lifnei Moshe uMiriam, zeili anu ve'amiru Adonai imloch leolam va'ed, leolam va'ed. Mi chamocha bailim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh, nora tehi Lord, osefele, nora tehi Lord, osefele, ונאמר כי פרענו את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גל ישראל.
Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace. Page 43. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, aleinu v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim.
V'shameru b'nei Yisrael, et ha-Shabbat la'asot, et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל, את השבת לעשות, את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל עוד היא לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל עוד היא לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל, את השבת לעשות, את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל, את השבת לעשות, את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי וביום hashvi'i Shabbat vayi nafash uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayi nafash uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayi nafash v'shameru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat lidorotam berit olam. Ya lai lai lai, ya lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai, ya lai lai, ya lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai, ya lai 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 lai.
We continue on page 46 and we rise for the tefillah. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufia ki tehilatecha. Adonai, open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu Imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei Hakol V'Zocher Chastei Avot V'Imahot U'Mevi Geula Livnei B'neihem Lima'an Shemo V'Yahava Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Be'ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai Mechayeh HaKol Atara Ve'Hoshia Morid Hatal Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim Verofei Cholim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Neunato Lishenei Afar Mi Chamocha Ba'al Gevurot Umidom Melach Melech Memit Umechayeh Umatzmiach Yeshua B'ne'eman atah lehachayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai Mechayeh hakol Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh U'kadoshim b'chol yom yihallelu Selah Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. Days pass and the years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. God, fill our eyes with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, like lightning, illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see wherever we gaze that the bush burns unconsumed. And we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place, and we did not know it. Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. Page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day.
May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. Continue on page 59. Before we recite the communal prayer of thanksgiving, I always like to invite you to take a moment to reflect on your own lives. Think of something that you are personally grateful for, that you would like to offer thanks to God. So take a moment of reflection. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul or light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hato shimcha, l'chana l'hodot. Alden Solovoy is a magnificent liturgist, and next week we'll be reading a lot of his prayers that he wrote for the Siddur. Well, not for the Siddur, but talking about prayers in the Siddur. He came up with this, I think 2 days ago. He writes things amazingly on the spot. And he wrote, "At the start of a ceasefire, source of life, how strange is this thing called a ceasefire, knowing that some or all of those shooting rockets at us may not abide, know that we may not abide, knowing the fragility of these moments, knowing the preciousness of even a fleeting calm. God of peace, let these hours of cautious wonder lead to days of quiet calm. Let days of quiet calm lead to weeks of hopeful serenity. Let weeks of hopeful serenity become a dawning of good faith. Let the dawn of good faith lead to years of peace, prosperity, and plenty. Let this moment be for healing. Let this moment be for repair. Let this moment be a new beginning for every nation and all your children." And we all say, Amen. We continue with Shalom Rav, our prayer for peace.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lichol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lichol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha livarech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Baruch atah Adonai hamivarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom.
We take a moment to think of loved ones and friends who are ill and in need of healing, physically, spiritually, emotionally. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal those who are ill. May the Blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit. And let us say, Amen. Any names you'd like to mention for a prayer of healing? Sue Horowitz.
מי שברך אבותינו, אברהם, יצחק ויעקב. מי שברך אמותינו, שרה רבקה לאה ורחל. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer, 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 and bless us as well. Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with the power of your hope. May our hearts be filled with understanding and strengthened by the power of your love. Mi sheberach avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov. Mi sheberach imotenu, Sarah, Rivka, Leah, v'Rachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer, 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 and bless us as well. Hear our prayer, 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 and bless us as well.
We continue with silent prayer, a chance for our own personal thoughts and meditations. Adonai tzuri v'goli, Adonai tzuri
ratzon imrei fi vehegyon libi lifanecha Adonai tzuri v'goli Adonai tzuri
It is now my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker for this evening. Rabbi Joshua Rabin is a Community and Government Affairs Liaison at Live On New York, specifically focusing on the Jewish community. Live On New York is a nonprofit organization that facilitates organ donation and transplantation in the greater New York City area. Their team works with local hospitals and transplant centers to deliver the gift of life to the nearly 8,000 New Yorkers currently waiting for a life-saving organ transplant. They also care for the families of the selfless organ donors and advocate for this life-saving cause. Rabbi Rabin received his smicha and certification in pastoral counseling from the Jewish Theological Seminary in 2011, completed executive education at institutions including Harvard Business School, the Institute for Jewish Spirituality, and the Disney Institute. Josh is a recipient of the Wexner Field Fellowship and the Ruske Fellowship for Jewish Professional Leadership. He lives on the Upper West Side with his wife, Rabbi Yael Hammerman, and they are the parents of Hannah, Shai, and Ella. I invite Rabbi Rabin to the bima.
Shabbat Shalom. Good evening, everybody. Thank you to Rabbi Michelle for her generous invitation to speak to all of you tonight. First of all, I hope everyone had a happy Passover, and that your digestive systems have recovered. Mine have not entirely. Also want to wish a Mazal Tov to the Bar Mitzvah family. It's a perfect segue because this week is actually my Bar Mitzvah Torah portion. So before I dive into my topic, I thought I would share what my rabbi said to me at my Bar Mitzvah, which was in the previous millennium. And I promise you I'll relate it to organ donation. So there's a couple of different topics that are covered in Parashat Shmini. Probably the most well-known of all of them is that it provides the laws of kashrut, of the Jewish dietary laws. This you could discuss for hours and hours upon end, but my rabbi at my bar mitzvah chose to focus on one particular question about this week's Torah portion, which is why the stork is not kosher. Okay, so provide some background. Again, I promise you this has something to do with organ donation. When we are given the various principles of Jewish dietary laws, sometimes the dietary laws give you a principle that says if an animal is like X or Y, then it's kosher, or if it doesn't have this, then it's not kosher. Birds are a little bit more complicated. It actually lists the names of birds that you can eat or not eat, and then it doesn't necessarily give you the reasons why. Or if there's a bird not listed there at all, then it's left for rabbis hundreds of thousands of years later to decide if they're kosher or not. For example, it doesn't tell you whether or not a turkey is kosher, because they didn't know of turkeys in the ancient Middle East. So rabbis had to decide later, is a turkey kosher? But the stork actually says that the stork is not a kosher animal. And it's a little bit ironic because the word in the Torah used for what we call the stork is the chasidah, which, if it sounds at all familiar to you, is from the same Hebrew word as the word chesed, or gimilut chasadim, which means that, and the Talmud confirms this, that the stork is known as a bird that is known as the kind one, which is a little odd to call a bird that's known as the kind bird to be a treif bird. Seems like that would be the opposite kind of name you would give. That's the kind of name you would give to a kosher bird. And the best explanation we are given from the Talmud and by our commentator Rashi is that the stork is called the kind one because it helps out its friends. But it's a treif bird because it only helps out its friends. I kid you not, this was the Devar Torah that my rabbi gave to me at my bar mitzvah in 1997. And I think it's actually a useful metaphor to play with to come here and speak to you tonight about this very interesting topic. There aren't a lot of rabbis who make us get a salary for talking about organ donation. I think I'm only one of two, to be totally honest with you, in the entire world. But I want us to think about this idea that like a bird could be kosher or not kosher based on whether or not it's willing to help people that are not its friends. Picture someone that you see when you're walking down the street or at the supermarket or when you're taking the bus somewhere or wherever it is you might be. And picture a person that when you see them crossing your path, you assume that this person has nothing in common with you. Maybe it's how they look, what their skin color is, or the language that they speak, or some button that they're wearing that expresses a political view that you don't agree with. I'll let you decide what that person looks like. And then imagine that it's 3 days, 3 months, 3 years, 3 decades from now, and you find out that that same person saved the life of someone that you cared about. How would you look differently at that person? And dare I say, how would you look differently at any person if you recognize that any person that you encounter, anywhere you go, could potentially save the life of someone that you love and care about? Because here's the secret. Our bodies don't know that we're Jewish. For that matter, our bodies don't know how much money we make or our political persuasion or what language we speak or what racial category we are placed into. Like all of those external boxes that human beings place ourselves into, the hearts and the lungs and the kidneys don't care about any of those things. And so one of the things that's so inspiring about teaching people about the Judaism, the Torah of organ donation, is that this is one of those ways that is a reminder of how much people really have in common with each other. Because it's possible, and in fact it happens every day, that someone has their life saved by the life of someone else who the day before that same person might have walked down the street and thought, I have nothing in common with this person. And then they are bound up together forever in this bond of everlasting life. They chose to help someone not merely because they were their friend, but because they were just another human being in need of being helped. So let me tell you a little bit about Live on New York. Live on New York's not a Jewish organization. It's also not a hospital, for that matter. We are designated by the federal government of the United States. Every federal government, past, present, and future, no matter what you think of this one, or ones in the past, or ones to come, we are designated by the federal government to be the sole organization, anywhere between Staten Island and Poughkeepsie, to handle deceased organ donation. So what that means in practical terms is that if you hear that there was someone who died in a hospital in Rockland County and their heart was donated to someone in Long Island, we are the people who are responsible for making every stage of that process happen, from approaching the family in the hospital to discuss their loved one's wishes if the wishes were known, or finding out what their wishes were if they were not known. And should that person be a suitable donor, getting those life-saving organs to the next place they need to go to live on in someone else's body. Now you're probably wondering, what does that have to do with being a rabbi? And you'd be quite justified in asking that question. Because most of our staff, as you can imagine, are people who are medical professionals. But here's the thing. Organ donation is very culturally specific. The reasons that people choose not to register to be a donor are very much informed by their cultural frame of reference. Sometimes that's by language, sometimes that's by religion, sometimes that's by race. But whatever it is, those assumptions that we make about it are one of the biggest reasons why, in the area that I described, that Live On New York works with, about 2 or 3 out of 10 people are registered to be organ donors. Most people are not. And by the way, that includes the Jewish community. Even if you remove the entire Hasidic population of New York, which admittedly is a large percentage. But even once you remove it, Jewish people tend to not register. So at Live On New York, because of the diversity of the community, they employ a variety of cultural specialists like me who are tasked with going around to anywhere in the area that I mentioned and teach people about this important topic in a language, literal or metaphorical, that they understand. So I'm a rabbi, so 2 months ago I was given the Shabbat morning talk at Sons of Israel in Nyack, and you can find me teaching at rabbinical schools and chaplains and synagogues anywhere, or day schools, JCCs. You can find me at the Rockland JCC every couple of months. I sit my table right outside the gym there. So if you come in, often it's on a Wednesday morning. So if you get there, but between 9 and noon, you'll see my table. But I also work with an African-American minister, and we have specialists who work in the Chinese-American community and people who speak Spanish and Hindi and Punjabi, and they run Diwali celebrations and Chinese New Year's celebrations, and they do all the things that I do, but they do them in other communities using the language that people understand. And so you're probably wondering, well, why does the Jewish community not register to be organ donors at the same rate as everyone else? That sounds a little bit surprising to me. In any synagogue, most people are quite aware that organ donation is a life-saving act. And even if you would like to pretend that you didn't pay attention in Hebrew school your entire life, you probably heard at some point that Judaism values saving a life. Even that particular little nugget probably managed to stick in there, right? So why is it the case that Jews on average don't donate? And part of the reason is because there are some very sticky, to use a Yiddish term, bubamaises, that exist in our community on this topic that no one ever bothers correcting to whole communities at the time. And as a result, when organ donation is possible, and just to be clear, because someone was asking me about this before we started, only about 1.5% to 2% of all people who die will actually be even remotely good candidates to be organ donors. So the number of cases that actually happen are very, very rare. And they happen in the context of the most tragic and sudden ways that a person can die. We're talking about car accidents, drownings, gunshot wounds, sudden brain hemorrhages. Since October 7th, there have been over 13 soldiers in the IDF who were killed in action and were organ donors, because that is also a cause of death from which organ donation can be possible. So you're talking about earthquakes that happen in a person's life. And in that moment where where their loved ones are faced with all kinds of questions about what's going to happen next, it's a really, really bad time to get a 101 level introduction to this topic. And so many people simply say no. It's just kind of easier that way. And I'm here as a rabbi who works in this area to say I don't begrudge that. It makes sense. But that's why we want to teach you something about it before it actually is a, pardon the pun, live decision that you have to make. Because it's better to be able to think about it before it actually becomes an urgent situation. So let's get a few things out of the way. Number one, and this is perhaps the most important Jewish myth. Yes, you can be buried in a Jewish cemetery if you are an organ donor. Every Jewish cemetery, anywhere in the world. I do not know, and believe me, I have searched, for where exactly this myth started or where it came from. But it is very, very hard to dislodge from people's minds. And it is by far the number one reason that Jewish people don't register to be organ donors. And it's actually not for an unjustified reason. The assumption that we make is that I was taught that Judaism involves bodily integrity. We should take care of the body. We should make sure that it gets buried in its proper home. And all of these things are true. Except somehow we've translated that into meaning that I can't donate my organs because that would be somehow mutilating my body. But Jewish law doesn't see it that way. Jewish law sees the choice to be an organ donor as one that is for the purpose of saving a person's life. And while we would never want to do anything to a person's body when it is time for them to go to their final home, wherever that home might be, any custom about Jewish burial would be superseded by the fact that you are engaging in a final act of tzedakah by saving a person's life. Number two, this is not a Jewish myth, but it's a general myth. You are not too old to be an organ donor. And yes, I'm talking to you. I mean all of you. Okay? This is also a very common myth. The oldest known organ donor in the United States died when they were 98 years old. Oldest known donor in New York State was 96. Does this mean that as we age, we will be as high percentage candidates to be organ donors? Probably not, but it doesn't go to zero, and you can't know until you actually have a doctor go in there and check. So as I like to remind people, don't self-disqualify. Don't self-disqualify. And number three, and this one is a little bit more of a Jewish myth, there might be a world one day where there is this thing called a Messiah. It's probably not coming tomorrow, unfortunately, and probably not coming next week or next month either. And if there is that universe, and admittedly, Reform and conservative clergy, we have some strange theologies on this in our various prayer books. If there is a universe in which that ever happens, and there is an opportunity for people to come back to this world, whatever that might mean by that, there is no reason in any Jewish text I've ever heard of that because a person chose to donate their heart now, they will somehow be precluded from it 500 or 5,000 years from now. And if you're looking at me with strange eyes being like, I can't believe there are people who believe that, allow me to tell you, believe me, there are people who believe that. And look, where do these myths come from? To be honest, I have no earthly idea, and trust me, I've searched. And that's okay. That's okay. We all believe a lot of things that we don't exactly know where we got the ideas from, but here's the problem. Every day in New York, at least one person dies waiting for one of these life-saving transplants. There's about 9,000 people just in our state who are waiting for a life-saving transplant. In this zip code alone, 10960, is that the zip code? Did I get it right? Okay. There are 3 people who are waiting for a transplant, and only one person who needed a transplant and got one. So that's 25%. Now, don't feel too bad. Most of the time, that's the number that I get. But multiply that by 1,800 zip codes in the state, and you can quickly see how that number ends up being so high. And the cases that actually happen are so rare that every single person who says yes matters a great deal. Every one person who can be an organ donor has the potential to save 8 lives just by yourself from the life-saving organs that you might have available in your body. They also have the potential to help another 75 people through donating skin to people who are burn victims, to medical facilities that need tissue samples for research. These things matter a great deal. And it gives you an opportunity to do an act of tzedakah that no one can ever repay you for. Think about that. Think about the ways in which you try to help people every day in your life. I try to do it as much as I can, and I think I often fall short. I'm a little bit like the stork. I'm very aware of when I can help my friends. I'm less aware when I can help someone who seems out of my field of vision. But through this incredible miracle, we all have the opportunity to remember how much we really are alike. And if we can do that, we can achieve that and get that waiting list number down to 0, which may seem really far away, but is not quite as far away as you might imagine if we all take that step to register. We will do something as a humanity, as a society, that reminds us how much we really, truly can do for one another. And that, my friends, is the most incredible mitzvah that all of you can do. And so I want to wish all of you a Shabbat Shalom, Mazal Tov to the Bar Mitzvah family, and thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to share some of these words with you tonight. Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rabbi Rabin. That was just so enlightening. I learned so many things that I didn't know. And what a beautiful way for us to help other people. So check your license. If it's not marked, now's the time to do it. We are in that time of the Jewish calendar where we count the Omer. Page 278.
Hineni mukhan umzuman lekayem mitzvat aseh shel sfirat haomer. I am ready to fulfill the mitzvah of counting the Omer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat haomer. Hayom tish'a yamim shehem shavua echad u'shnei yamim la'omer. Today is the 9th day, making 1 week and 2 days of the Omer.
We continue with the Aleinu on page 282, and we all rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. שנאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Please be seated. We take a moment now to think of friends and loved ones that have passed on, knowing that even though their physical presence is gone, their spiritual presence will always remain. And if you look at our Siddur, there are various different readings before we recite Kaddish. I invite you to look at pages 288 to 293 and see if there's a reading that has meaning to you that you would like to read to yourself before we recite Kaddish as a community. If you are here to recite Kaddish for a loved one, when I call their name, I invite you to rise so we can acknowledge you as a mourner. Then we will recite Kaddish together as a community. In Pirdah Shloshim, remember Rabbi Buzz Richard Bogage, cousin of Libby Tulin, Richard Ohion, uncle of Debbie Turner. Pirdah Shana, remember David Greenberg, husband of Sally, Cantor Sally Neff, and Drew Greenberg. Yard sites this Shabbat, Michael Ames, brother-in-law of Scott Fetterman, Ann Berkowitz, grandmother of Eric Berkowitz, Harry Krug, uncle of Jane Aronoff, Stephen Davidowitz, brother of Rita Jacobs, Abraham Feltman, grandfather of Deborah Stutznitzer, Benjamin Fern, grandfather of David Strauss, Sandra Freed, sister of Ellen Radisher, Michael Hillel's son, cousin of Robin Loeb, Isaac Kadishowitz, grandfather of Ellen Holtzman, Fanny Krasnov, grandmother of Rabbi Ronald Mass, Sylvia Livingston, mother of Warren Livingston, Michael Newworth, brother of Deborah Foreman, Norman Noodleman, father of Eve Fox, Bernard Oppenheim, uncle of Hillary Schwartz and Freda Rosen, Marcel Pollack, father-in-law of Donald Waldorf, Karl Reich, brother of Estelle Hahn, Sylvia Rosenzweig, mother of Stephen Rosenzweig, Ann Scheffler, mother of Sharon Hittman, Gary Schuster, brother of Barry Hoffman, Hy Shaw, cousin of Ellen Radisher, Jacob Bernard Waldorf, father of Donald Waldorf, Hilda Warner, mother of Mark Werner, and we remember Jack Goldner, Morris Grabina, Herman Gerkowitz, Marilyn Horishak, Evelyn Levine, Jules Mallon, Ann Neuiger, Sylvia Rosenzweig. Are there any of the names you want to mention for Kaddish? I invite the congregation to rise and join the mourners as we recite Kaddish together as a community. Page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, v'almad yivrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'hayachon v'yomechon, v'chayed yechol beit Yisrael, b'agala v'zman kariv v'yamru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach la'olam ulmei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei jekudashah b'richu. Le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata, damiran belma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. May the source of peace bestow peace on all who mourn, and may we be a source of comfort to all who are bereaved. And we all say, Amen.
Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru. Amen.
Please be seated. Someone doing announcements, assigned announcements for this evening? I had a different name down, so I wanted to check.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Rabbi Rubin, for joining us tonight and inspiring and educating us about the importance of organ donation and the good work that you do with Live On New York. Tomorrow morning, Taste of Torah will meet in person and on Zoom at 9 a.m., followed by Shabbat morning services in person and on Zoom beginning at 10:30 a.m. On Sunday, April 12th at 7:30 p.m., our youth group will host a fabulous 3-course meal, freshly prepared and served by our youth. There will even be a trivia contest during dessert. Check eConnections for the link to RSVP. RTR's first annual open mic night will be held on Saturday, April 25th at 7 p.m. If you play an instrument, are a storyteller, a comedian, magician, singer, or dancer, RTR has a stage for you. Sign up to participate or RSVP to be in the audience. Let Mike Rudder know you are coming. It promises to be a truly great evening. Refreshments will be served, and there is no fee to attend. Congratulations to the Rosenblum family on the bar mitzvah of Henry. Mazel tov and Shabbat Shalom.
Apparently, the open mic night has been canceled.
Oh,
I did not know that. That said it's been canceled. The open night mic is canceled. But the good news is that next Saturday night, I will be singing at a concert at Temple Emmanuel in Edison, New Jersey, which I recognize is a little bit far from here. But they are the congregation that turned me into a cantor. And they are honoring their anniversary by having a concert of all of their past cantors. So I think it's going to be really spectacular. So if you want to schlep out to Edison, New Jersey, and come, I'm going to sing Taylor the Latte Boy. I mean, fun, and other stuff. So please let me know if you want the information. And I think you can get tickets at the door, but I'll send out a blast with ticket info, and it should be lots of fun.
And tomorrow there's no Zoom, is that correct, for the bar mitzvah? Just live streaming?
There's no Zoom for the bar mitzvah, right, Steve? Is there Zoom for the bar mitzvah? No.
Just live streaming.
Just
Okay.
live stream.
And one other very important thing, Thursday, 7:30?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. 7 o'clock. Come and meet Rabbi Stephen Goldstein. He will be our new rabbi. He is amazing. He is wonderful. We are so lucky that he chose to come and be our rabbi. So come and meet him on Thursday.
And one more thing. Some very piecemeal announcements. We have a new pianist this evening, joined us for the very first time. So welcome, Albert. Thank you and managed to do very well.
Yes, thank you.
So we look forward to hearing more from you in the coming.
And one more announcement. A week from tonight, Friday, Shabbat services, we were doing a visual tefillah with the liturgy of Alden Solovoy, and the pictures and photographs will be from Steve and my trip to New Zealand. So New Zealand is a Gan Eden, so it will be some beautiful pictures, not because we see them, because New Zealand is beautiful. So, and it's best in person, so come in person if you can. Aniva, Ata, you and I will change the world on page 348.
אני ואתה נשנה את העולם. אני ואתה אז יבואו כבר כולם. אמרו את זה קודם, לפניי זה לא משנה. אני ואתה נשנה את העולם. אני ואתה ננסה מההתחלה. יהיה לנו רע, אין דבר זה לא נורא. אמרו את זה קודם, לפניי זה לא משנה. אני ואתה נשנה את העולם, את העולם, את העולם, את העולם.
We rise for the Birkat HaKonim, the final benediction.
יברכך אדוני וישמרך.
May God bless you and keep you.
יאיר אדוני פניו אליך ויחונקה.
May God's face shine upon you and be gracious to you.
יישא אדוני פניו אליך וישם לך שלום, שלום.
May God's presence be with you always, bring you the most precious gift of all, the gift of peace. Shabbat Shalom. Join us in the back in the social hall for Motzi and Kiddush.
Shabbat Shalom. Can't say no to goodies, right?